Hello and welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report with Hofstra Baseball Head Coach John Russo. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lynn, for having me.
Let's get right into it. Coming up on the final two regular season weekends of the year. The first one this weekend at JMU, but let's go back to last weekend. Get your first CA series win of the season. You know, after coming close in a couple other series, I'm sure it's finally good to get that monkey off your back.
Definitely. It was a series we had to win too. And, better is like we knew we had to win it going in and couldn't have had more pressure on us. And I thought the team really dealt with the pressure well and, had the doubleheader on Saturday and were able to get game one. And, I thought really battled in game two and then, pulled out a great win on Sunday. And so, overall it was so many people, so many aspects, but just a great team series.
As you said, a lot of people contribute to the wins. Let's look at in game one. You get another good start from John Rooney, and then you back him up with Chris Weiss. 6 and 2/3 innings from Rooney, gives you 7 strikeouts. Weiss comes in, closes out the game, picks up another 7 strikeouts in his 2 1/3 innings or 2 2/3 innings. Just how important have those two been the last couple of weeks as the team's play has really picked up?
Well, I think Rooney's now that's 3 outings in a row that he's thrown really, really good, and more importantly than throwing well is I thought he pitched really well this weekend, and he's always had good stuff, but I think this weekend he showed how much he's developed as a pitcher. He didn't have his best stuff, but was still able to get us 6 2/3. Really competed, really dealt with some adverse conditions. We missed a couple balls and put him in tough spots, and he battled out early on. He didn't have much stuff. He got a couple double play balls, and I thought this was John's most experienced start of the year. And in the last 3 weeks, I wouldn't trade Chris Weiss for anyone, to be honest. He's had great stuff. He's put it all together. He's strikeouts at a high rate. He ended up throwing 50 pitches on Saturday, and then he ended up coming back on Sunday. But his character, his toughness, his pitchability, his everything about him is awesome. And Chris has been having put together a real solid 2.5 weeks here, and if he can finish strong these last 2 weeks, I think it'll be great.
Now the offense, the last few weeks, you guys like Vito Fresia and Brad Witkowski have been really carrying things. Vito, has got an on-base streak approaching 30 games, a hit streak at 11. Brad's been on base in 18 straight games. Both hitting close to 400 or better over the last 20 some odd games. This, as especially with Brad as he's coming to the end of his collegiate career, what have you seen from those two guys at the plate the last few weeks?
Well, the thing I've seen most from him is toughness. Different guys have different injuries. I don't think anybody's as beat up as Brad Witkowski, and he's just been awesome. He's had a great CAA play. He's hit awesome. He was started at second base. Now he's the everyday shortstop, so he's helped us do that. He's had a couple big home runs from the 2-hole to help us win games, but then I have to sometimes move him to the 4-hole to protect Vito because Vito's hitting so well. And Brad's just been such a great team player here in CAA play. He's done everything we could ask. He's sold completely out. He keeps playing. He's I got a really hurt back right now. I got spiked in the knee. He's gotten hit a few times on the forearms. I mean, he's just been a super tough player. And then Vito's done something that we desperately needed at the beginning of the year. We didn't have anybody solidify that 3-hole, and he has just solidified that. And like you said, he's game streaks, hit streaks, everything. But he's also doing it with power and big swings and great at bats. And he's a tough guy to strike out. He walks. He just does a lot of great things at the plate. Another really good team player. Brings energy all the time to the games. He's been awesome in CAA play, but the thing that he's done more than anything is, the biggest spot in the lineup, he's solidified every day there, and he's given us the true presence of a 3-hole hitter.
Now, game 2, which was the lone loss in the series, but we got to talk about Teddy Sillis. Pitched well enough to win, 7 innings, 3 earned runs, 16 strikeouts, program record. Was as good at the end of his performance as he was at the beginning, or maybe even better. Just in looking back now that you have a few days to reflect on it, just how about Teddy's outing?
Well, let's even go a step further. Talk about a kid that played, 8 innings in game one, at the day, and then he comes out and goes, 7 innings and 16 Ks in game two. I mean, think about what physical shape you have to be in to be able to pull something off. And, I know Teddy's one of the hardest workers in the weight room, and he's a great team leader. And just in those aspects alone, to play in the first game of a doubleheader and then come back and throw 7 innings and strike out 16, I mean, that just tells you everything you need to know about Teddy Silas. And like you said, he had better stuff at the end. He struck out the side there in the 7th, and kept wanting the ball, kept asking to throw more. He felt better, felt good. I can't say enough superlatives about Teddy Silas. And I know he gave up 3 earned runs, but probably had a play or two could have made. I thought he made 1 bad pitch on the 2-run homer of the whole time. And I mean, anything you say about Teddy positive is probably an understatement at this point.
Now we go to Sunday's finale, a very exciting game. You get a great start from Matt Weishire. Gives you 4 innings. It's Matt, who was making his second career start, gives you 4 innings, only gives up 1 hit. Leave with the lead, the bullpen gives it back up, but go back and forth, and then finally you get to that 9th inning, and Vinny Costello, who has given you some power, was also, got a little low average on the year, comes up and plays the hero with the solo home run to win it. Just from a mindset perspective, how important was that win, getting that win there?
We had a lot going into it. I mean, you also lost Liederman going into that game and down another starter, and I think Tyler White gets his first start of the year, and we had a little bit of a makeshift lineup in that game, and then you have Matty getting his second start. But listen, Matt's won back-to-back must-win Sunday games, and he's thrown 4 innings in both, gave us a chance to win in both, had great stuff this past weekend, and still, he hadn't started all year, so his pitch count isn't built up. So, 4 innings is about what he could do. He could maybe go more, and I'm sure he wants to go more, but we got to do stuff the right way. And you can't say enough about Matt's starts the last 2 weekends. They were as vital in the wins as anything else. And then, I think you get a couple innings from John Ryan, and then you get Chris Weiss to come back and throw the last, 2 in the 3rd after throwing 50 pitches the day before. It's just incredible. We didn't think we could get him for more than an inning or 2, and asked him to do 2 in the 3rd. Not only that, we asked him to strike out their 3-hole hitter with 1 out and guys on 1st and 3rd, and he gets back-to-back strikeouts in that inning. And but then you get to the 9th inning, and Vinny had really struggled in the game. He had 2 strikeouts to start, and a freshman in that time could really put their head down and lose confidence and throw up an 0 for 4 with 3 Ks in a hurry. But Vinny had a great third at bat, and he leads off the inning with a single. He scores a run to go ahead at the time, and then he comes up in the 9th inning and really battled. They were throwing him a lot of breaking balls. He gets to a 3-2 count. He gets himself to a fastball and hits a ball to left center, which he hasn't done a lot of. Most everything for him is pull, but he stays through a ball and made an adjustment. And I think that's where you get the 100 at bats that he's had this year. He can start to figure it out as the game goes along, and he made improvements, and that's what you'd love to see from every kid, more or less a freshman, and Vinny's had a really positive year for us.
Now we go to this weekend at JMU. JMU, 22 and 22 on the year, 1 game behind you in the CA standings. Again, another, I hate to say must-win series, but the hope is still alive for a CA playoff berth. Obviously, the wins have to keep coming though. So, what is the team's frame of mind going into this weekend?
We're super excited. I think had a good week of practice, and winning 3 of our last 4 in conference right now, and playing pretty well. And JMU's coming off of taking a series from Towson, and I'm sure they have a lot of the same scenarios that we have. And they're a little bit down on their pitcher staff. They got some guys hurt, but they have a really good number 1 that'll throw game 1 against us. That last year when he pitched against us, he beat us on Sunday. He was player of the week, and they got an experienced veteran lineup that, even though they might not be swinging the bat great at this point, it's coming into their last weekend. And so those guys, you got to assume they'll show up at home. And, like everything starts with us was plain and simple. It started with Rooney on the mound on game 1 and Teddy on the mound game 2. And we'll play really hard to win those first couple games and then do like what we've done the last. And, gotta hope to get a couple guys back from injuries maybe this weekend. Not sure where those guys stand just yet. But, keep battling. I think we're going in the right direction. We were due to put some stuff together. We were due to win some close games. And, winning on the road in the CA is really tough, but, we've done it a few times already and we can do it again.
All right, Coach, good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Len.
You've been watching the W.B. Mason Coach Report on GoHofstra.com.